Do you know in which country are presently kept about half of the world gold reserve? Which American president haven't visited that site since Roosevelt did it in 1943? That location is in the US state of Kentucky. United States Bullion Depository at Fort Knox. This location is regarded as one of the safest in the world. And why not? As the name implies, America's gold treasures are housed here, and these deposits are not tiny, weighing thousands of tons of gold.
According to history, during the 1930s economic crisis in the United States, the government decided to purchase people's gold and print currency notes in exchange. This law was put into effect, and the American government officials gathered gold from the public and exchanged it for dollar bills. After finishing this labor, it became difficult to manage and maintain tons of gold that had been gathered. Congress decided to build a gold wall in 1935, and Fort Knox in Kentucky was selected as the site. The road network and railway system were not unique at the time because the majority of the gold mines were located in New York and Philadelphia, respectively. As a result, to get the Fort Knox in case of invasion, the invader would have to go through the Appalachian mountain range.
A pilot who is unfamiliar with the region will find it difficult to reach this location. Additionally, this location was part of a US Army base. It was acquired from the soldiers specifically for use in building the gold wall. This gold wall is still surrounded by a US military facility that is always prepared to battle in an emergency.
The structure is a tiny fortress made of concrete and steel. This building, which only rises 42 feet, has a two-story basement that is 121 feet long and 105 feet wide. Its construction required the use of 4,200 cubic yards of concrete, 16,500 cubic feet of granite, and 750 tons of reinforcing steel and 670 tons of structural steel. This is a two-story underground gold vault in this building, and there are offices, storerooms, and other spaces between the vault and the exterior wall. The structure features a separate electrical infrastructure. Modern cameras, covert sensors, and other security features have also been installed, along with security towers that have been constructed on the building's four corners. The next challenge was how to transport thousands of tons of gold there. Because gold is a highly heavy and thick metal, doing it by air was an extremely challenging and time-consuming process.
This demonstrates that gold has a good weight despite its small size. Prior to altering the US gold bullion standard, the gold was reportedly melted down into bars of a specific size. After being molded into bars, this was transformed into this 7-inch gold bar, which measures about 3.5-inch long, 2.5-inch wide, and weighs about 12.5 kilos. Yes, you heard correctly. A chunk of gold the size of a cell phone weight is 12.44 kg or 27 pounds. Compared to steel, gold is 2.5 times denser and extremely hefty, and the purity of these gold bars is up to 99.9%.
After careful consideration, it was decided to transport the gold reserves to Fort Knox by train. The US Postal Service used 39 trains to transport 10,947 tons of gold to Fort Knox in the first half of 1937. The US Army stood watch over the train that carried the gold. The gold was subsequently transferred by truck from the station to Fort Knox, where it was guarded by US Army combat cars, and finally it was taken to the gold vault. This 25-inch thick steel vault's door was secured by a lock. The steel in this door is 21 inches thick as well. This door is time locked, which means it can only be opened at a specific time using a combination of multiple codes that belong to various personnel. More gold was moved here in 1941 following this transfer. The vault in 1941 contained roughly 12,960 tons of gold, or 2/3 of all American reserve.
In addition, the United States still maintains gold reserve in Philadelphia and New York. During World War II, items other than gold were also kept in this gold vault. documents, Declaration of Independence, and Article of Confederation were preserved there. These two documents both pertain to America's independence. When the 13 American states proclaimed their independence from the British Empire on July 4, 1776, these documents were signed. The concept of state sovereignty within a federation were then established by these 13 states as well.
The supreme law of America's original text was kept there. Additionally, two of American President Lincoln's original addresses have been preserved there too. However, all of them were returned to their rightful location, the Library of Congress, following the conclusion of America's War for Independence. The remarkable thing is that this work was carried out in a highly covert manner, and at the time, visitors to the Library of Congress were unaware that they were looking at copies of papers rather than the originals. Apart from these documents, the famous crown of Holy Crown of Hungary, also known as the crown of Saint Stephen, was kept here. All of the Hungary's kings between the 12th and the 20th centuries wore this renowned crown. Hungary set this crown to Fort Knox out of concern that it would end up in the hands of the Soviet army. In 1978, the US returned this ancient crown to Hungary along with a few other relics.
As of right now, Fort Knox is estimated to have 4,583 tons of gold, or about 56% of the country's entire gold reserve, valued at $211 billion. The remaining gold is reportedly housed in New York and Philadelphia. The United States is currently the largest country in the world in terms of gold reserve. And because of the size of this gold reserve, which are so high that the countries that come in second, third, and fourth, namely Germany, Japan, United Kingdom, Italy, and France, cannot compete with it. When combined, their reserves are lower than those of the US. India is the 10th in terms of gold reserve, followed by Turkey at 12 and Saudi Arabia at 16. In contrast, Pakistan gold holdings are 43rd in the world. There are 65 tons of gold reserves in Pakistan.
Hope you enjoyed today's video.
That's it for today. Bye for now.